It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
It is late. It is late when I'm hitting record on this. In fact, it's nearly Tuesday morning. We're nearing the midnight hour. This recording is going to trickle into midnight for me. So I just got back from watching the USA-Belgium game. Belgium beats the U.S. 4-1, and I just got some thoughts on it, some general thoughts on it. I love sports. I was very excited about tonight. I guess last night if you're listening to this when it's released, I was very excited. I got together with a couple buddies, got together with Mike and Josh. We decided to watch this game together, and we were like, let's go watch it at a place we normally go on Monday nights. We normally go to this local watering hole here in Lexington that we love, Banners. And we go there after basketball on Monday nights. Well, tonight, no basketball because everyone wanted to watch the USA game. So we went to Banners early. Instead of a 10 o'clock showing, I got there at 7:45. So I roll in 7:45 to get us a table. And this is when I knew that night was set up for total magic. It was packed to the gills. There was no indoor seating whatsoever. There was no indoor standing whatsoever. This place was red, white, and blue from sea to shining sea. It was insane how many people were there. Parking lot was packed up. It is in the same kind of parking lot. There's a grocery store next to it. And so the whole Banners parking lot was filled. It was trickling over into the grocery store parking lot. I'm telling you, it was insane. And I know it was like this worldwide, United States wide, which was what was making this so awesome. I got some videos from my buddy Josh back home. He and his wife were at the game at Lumen Field. The videos looked insane. So this was set up to be an all-timer. And I started to get this feeling in my stomach like tonight could be the sports night. Now, of all sports nights for the U.S. and for people in the U.S., I've been around and a part of a lot of awesome sports moments. I've been around a lot in person, and I've been around a lot just at home watching games. So for me, the Seahawks Super Bowl wins are going to go down as probably my two favorite sports moments of my life. They were awesome. I watched both of those games at home, and that went nuts. They're legendary moments. But in those moments, that is me by myself or around some friends, and not everyone is as diehard Seahawk fans. So there is a lot of excitement and a lot of the community. Like when I watched the Seahawks in Spokane, obviously the state of Washington going crazy for this. It was a huge deal, but it was kind of like a part of the United States. The Seahawks part of the United States. And you would go through your day and not everyone's a Seahawks fan, even living in Spokane, living in Washington. So you went through that next Monday and people were like, oh yeah, that was cool. But was it like the most amazing? No, not the most amazing. Was to me, but not to everyone. The other one, like a couple other ones that were huge for me were other Seahawks games. Apparently it's the NFL. I was fortunate enough to go to a couple. I've been fortunate enough to go to a couple Seahawks playoff games, and one of them was the Richard Sherman tip in the back of the end zone to make it to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl the Seahawks won, and that was, I think, in my lifetime, that is the most electric sports atmosphere I've ever been a part of. It was rivaled by the next one we'll talk about, but I am late night. My voice is hurting. My throat is dying. Sorry, bear with me. But when Richard Sherman knocked that ball down and it solidified the Seahawks were going to the Super Bowl, at the time, was it Quest Field? At the time, Lumen Field now. It was CenturyLink. I don't remember what it was. Anyways, Lumen Field now went crazy. Seattle went crazy. It was like burn it to the ground. We're going to the Super Bowl. And it was like everywhere you walked, everyone you saw, it was a party in Seattle. It was awesome. So I think that in terms of like all-time sports moments to be a part of, that was the one. Going down to the Super Bowl that the Seahawks lost to the Patriots, that environment was insane. Super Bowl environment's wild. And the moment where Jermaine Kearse caught the pass from Russell Wilson at the end of the fourth quarter of that Super Bowl to set up the 1st and goal with a chance to win it. Obviously, Seahawks throw the interception and lose, but that catch to set it up, bonkers in Glendale. Bonkers. So that was another great one. So these are great moments, right? But they're select groups of sports fans. This was the United States. So this was going to be, if this game went the other way than it did last night, it was going to be pure insanity. Sorry, I was a bit discombobulated there. My dog was going insane outside of the podcast dungeon. The U.S. was ready to pop off, and it was going to be like the Seahawks feelings that I had, except instead of just in a select area, this was going to be everywhere. Everywhere you went today on Tuesday was going to be nuts. People were going to be loving it. Last night was going to be a crazy party. It was ready to explode, and I was here for it. So we show up to watch this game, and I'm not a soccer expert. You know, had this game been a football game or a basketball game, it's weird because in those two sports, if I watch a basketball game and things go south for a team, I can come on the podcast and be very confident in explaining to you why things went the way they went, why the Knicks won, why the Spurs broke down. I've seen enough basketball. I've been involved in basketball. I know my stuff there. I can give you details if you're looking for them on why things went the way they went. Same with football. I didn't play football, but I've watched enough. I've studied enough. I've done enough sports stuff to know how football games go, where breakdowns were, and why teams won and lost. It's weird with soccer because I don't have that, right? So I'm watching this as more of a casual fan, which is kind of fun. And it's very funny because I get so much more judgmental, I feel like, watching this without knowing, because you just make these assumptions like, why aren't we on offense? Why are we kicking the ball back to our goalie all the time? Why can't we get around these guys? And I'm sure there's all these details why. But to just the layman who loves sports, who is watching that, we sucked. We sucked tonight. It was bad. It was bad. And it was almost embarrassing, where their hope and all this excitement and this gunpowder-filled country that was ready to explode, it was like we took the match and just threw it into water instead of on top of anywhere near the pile. There wasn't even a moment where you looked at the flame near the pile of gunpowder ready to go off and thought, that might get there. There's a chance the wind blows and that fire hits the gunpowder and we all go crazy. It was like we just took the match and put it into a cup of water and then threw the dead match right on top of the pile of gunpowder. Like, there you go. There's a bunch of wet wood. I was terrible. I know people are excited. And like, this is the other kind of stuff, right? Wemby. You want to talk about Wemby in the NBA Finals. You want to talk about people excited. You want to talk about what went wrong with them. And I can give you reasoning. I don't know that with soccer, but if I'm people who watch the NBA Finals and were like, Wemby's not as good as everyone says he is, okay? And I could come in and tell you why. I need the soccer fans to explain to me Christian Pulisic, because I saw him all over the place. He was like the dude, the captain. He's the man. He played in the Premier League. This is our guy. I mean, poopy butt cheeks. Poopy butt cheeks. I can't imagine that's our best soccer player. He looks awful. I feel like every time I watch and I'm looking for him, it's like, what's he doing? Nothing? Oh, he's kicking the ball to the other team. He just looked bad to me. So I'm missing something there. I understand that. I wish I knew what it was, though, because he looked terrible to me. Terrible. And other guys looked way, way better than him. So that was kind of a bummer to take in as a fan who had been told he's the guy. That was a bummer. That play where our goalie went out and just decided, I'm going to go halfway out on the defensive side and just like get wildly confused. And then they're going to just kick one in from 25, 30 yards away. That seemed weird. It seemed unconventional, like not a great play. We just looked like, it felt like the U.S. didn't know what they were doing. And it was just a bummer. Now, all that to say, I loved this ride and I loved this USA team. And I'm so excited about what they did. And one game is hard to be like, well, this team just totally sucks and we're worthless. They won a couple games. They made it to the round of 16. You can't look at all the countries that didn't. I think this goes down as a like overall success for U.S. soccer, but man, it's a bummer. And to get beat down like that, 2-1 feels so much different. 4-1 just felt like an absolute annihilation, like we shouldn't have been there. So it's a weird feeling right now going into tomorrow where I'm going to run into people and be like, oh, did you watch the game last night? I was so excited to run into people tomorrow and be like, hey, game, let's talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it to people. I don't want to talk about it. I have no interest in it. So there it was. USA loses to Belgium. One thing I am kind of excited about is now I'm just going to watch the World Cup as observer of what's hopefully going to be some fun soccer, because I really love the World Cup, but I've been heavily invested in USA. So that's kind of been where my attention's going. And now it's like, okay, they're out. I can kind of look through and be like, okay, Erling Haaland, I don't know how you say his name. I love him. He's been awesome. Give me some Norway. Inject some Norway into my veins. Can Messi keep winning and scoring goals? I think they play Tuesday. Can he keep scoring goals and be the greatest? Can I watch him? I really dislike Mbappe. Not as much as the Paraguay senator who is hopefully getting taken out of their position today. The extremely racist comments. Like we were talking about this last night. Racist comments to the point where people on the internet say really stupid things and mean things. But I don't even think internet trolls would say the things that she said about Mbappe. Crazy. But I'm not a big Mbappe guy. I think he kind of showed his rear end in their last game. Even though it was super physical, I think he kind of showed his rear end. So I get a cheer against him. Like, there's just a lot that's going on. And now I can just go in and observe the round of 8, the Elite 8, the Final 4, and the championship as just a fan of hoping for fun, good soccer matches. I loved it. I had a fun time watching this USA team. It's going to be memorable. It's going to go down as stuff I remember. Going last night to watch this game will be a core memory in my sports viewing moments because of how crazy and busy and poppin' that place was. It's just unfortunate the way it broke out. Okay, I got to go to sleep. It's the middle of the night. Why is my dog so active? All right, goodbye.